Hey Gear Seekers, I'm Nick. Today we're checking out a brand new case from Lian-Li, the Lancool 215. It's an airflow focused case with two 200mm fans up the front. They're RGB, it's $69 US. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a closer look at the case and then do a build. Let's get into it. All right, let's pull off this TG side panel so we can take a closer look inside and around the back. It's got captive thumb screws to pull the panels off, so you won't lose them if you decide to take the panels off this case. The first thing you'll notice is there's a built-in RGB and fan hub. This is a DC fan power hub. It doesn't actually have PWM controls at all. You can control the lighting on the fans and whatnot, anything that you plug into this via the button on the top, as well as being able to pass it through to your motherboard with the included pass-through cable. Not only can you do motherboard pass-through with the included RGB controller, or rather addressable RGB controller, it does allow you to expand it as well, so you can add more devices to this if you like. So that is nice for expansion, especially if you were to purchase the optional RGB strip that Lian-Li makes, which I don't have a spare one, so I won't be showing it in this build at all, but yeah, you can add it. And anything that is addressable RGB with 3-pin 5V addressable RGB, you can add to this. So it's actually a nice little expandable case. As well as that, you will need SATA or SATA power to power it, which is pretty standard for these built-in controllers, but that's more to do with the fans than the actual RGB itself. As far as the basement's concerned, I don't think you're gonna have many issues getting large power supplies to fit in here. You're probably gonna edge out at around 210mm, which is quite a large power supply, so I don't think you're gonna have many problems getting most of them to fit, but I would suggest probably around 160 as being quite optimal, especially if you're going to be using spinning rust or SSDs in this front hard drive cage. It allows you to mount one drive inside and then one drive on top of the cage, and you can completely remove the cage and install the drives that way as well. There's also two SSD mounts on the back panel of the case as well, which is a nice little addition given that this is a pretty decently priced case. Now this is a completely airflow focused case, so if we pop off the front panel, you'll notice there is two massive 200mm fans up the front. These are ARGB, so they do light up. And yeah, that's basically the gist of the front fans. They're not PWM, they're DC powered, but given the fans are so massive, they'll probably have pretty low noise, but we're gonna find that out a bit later in the video, and it's probably not even anything worth talking about given the fact that they're so massive. And from the other cases we've used in the past and just been using 200mm fans for many years, they are usually pretty silent, so there's gonna be no issues with that at all. The fan mounting looks to be pretty standard 200mm fan mounting, so if you have other 200mm fans that you wanted to change or whatever, it's pretty straightforward. It doesn't use fan screws, it uses proper threaded screws that screw into the actual case itself. So that's basically usually how 200mm fans work. And before I forget, I also wanted to mention that the Lian-Li logo on the front panel does in fact light up. There are 3 RGB LEDs on the bottom of the case that allow that. So the light passes through and that does get illuminated. Other inclusions with this case are a 120mm DC fan as well. This is not RGB, but it is nice that they included it considering this is a very cheap $69 budget focused airflow case. So you can replace this with any other fan that you like. Yeah, it's completely up to you. In terms of dust filtration, you've got a magnetic fan filter that's on the top of the case and also a slide out tray style filter on the bottom that you can slide in and out at will. In terms of additional fan and radiator mounting on this case, you can do 3 120mm fans right up the front of the case. You can do 2 120s at the top or 2 140s. So you can do a 280mm radiator or a 240mm radiator at the top as well. Just be aware you've got a maximum height of 55 mils between the top of your motherboard and the components and the top of the case. So most AIO should fit. Some RAM might be an issue with clearance, especially stuff like the Team Group Nighthawk RAM that sticks up above the motherboard, and maybe it could be an issue, but just take that into account. Be careful with your RAM choice. As well as that, there are 2 120mm fan mounts on the bottom of the case. You can use this as intake from the PSU shroud as well. It's actually quite nice that this is becoming more of a thing, especially with GPUs getting hotter and supplying fresher air to your GPUs, it's actually quite nice, especially with the way that the hard drive cage in the underside is actually designed as well. So if you were to pull it out, there's a lot of extra airflow space coming straight in with the airflow from the bottom of the case and going up. In terms of maximum CPU cooler height, if you were to be using an air cooler, you got 166 mils between the top of the CPU and the TG side panel. Motherboard support is actually quite varied. Obviously ITX, MATX, ATX, and also eATX. As far as motherboard support, yes, it supports eATX motherboards, but a maximum of around 280 millimeters for your motherboard length, if that's the route you wanted to go before it starts covering over all of the grommets. You've also got 370 mils of clearance for the GPU, but that's actually to do with if there's no front radiator mounted. Obviously, if you have a front rad and front fans, you're going to reduce that length, but even still, you should be okay. Vertical GPU mounting is also possible if you were to purchase the Lian-Li vertical GPU bracket. I won't be using it in this build. I do have one, but it is possible. There are no cross beams between any of the expansion slots here, so it means you can actually use any vertical PCIe bracket with this if you wanted to. So you wouldn't have a problem using the Cooler Master one or the Fantex one or any other manufacturers that make them. So the distance between the motherboard tray and the side panel, once fitted, because the side panel doesn't actually sit flush against the chassis itself, it actually sits a little bit out to line up with the edge along the top, is 22 millimeters, so more than enough space for cable management. As far as what we can tell with cable management, you've got these Velcro tie downs here. There's plenty of other tie down points along the back side of the motherboard tray as well. From left to right, we've got an illuminated power switch. There's a reset button. There's the RGB LED switch that allows you to change all of the lighting modes and switch to pass-through mode if you were to use that. There's two USB 3.0 ports. This is a budget focused case, so it doesn't have USB Type-C. And last but not least, there's a combined audio/microphone jack as well. This is becoming a lot more popular now because a lot more headsets are doing it, and it does save space. Because this is a budget focused case and it's less fancy than most other Lian-Li cases that you're going to find, it does have all the included screws and whatnot in a pretty simple plastic bag. The reality is this is a pre-production sample of the case, so it might actually be different in the retail version, but it does include everything else that you see in here. Well, that's the gist of all the features, all the clearances, cable management, RGB, and basically everything that is important to most people building in this case. So I'm gonna stop talking and we're gonna do a build. Let's do it. Peel Corp, are you there? All right, ladies and gents, it's time to visit our good old mates over at Peel Corp. It's been a little bit of a while since we hung out with those guys, actually. So yeah, let's do a little bit of a peel. Also, guys, if you want some Peel Corp merch, it's available over on our store, on the Gear Seekers merch store. There is a thing on screen right now, so you can check it out and grab some at your own leisure. We have been receiving photos of you guys wearing it, and we have been sharing it on social media too. But yeah, it's good to see you guys rocking that Gear Seekers merch. Anyway, enough about that. Time to visit our mates. Let's do it. All right, ladies and gents, that's it. It's time to engage cinematic mode. Let's do it. Alright, ladies and gents, I hope you enjoyed this build in the brand new Lian-Li Lancool 215. Okay, let's quickly chat about the thermals. You're seeing them on screen right now. They're actually not too bad, a little bit better than I thought they might be, given that these mesh front cases are sometimes pretty hit and miss, even though it's an open front case. The CPU temperatures are a little bit higher than I expected, although that's to be expected with this CPU. It does run quite warm. It's definitely not the coldest CPU on earth. The GPU temperatures are actually pretty good. As I suspected when we did the review of this card, I thought the temperatures might come up a little bit in a case, and they did only by a few degrees, so it's actually not too bad on average. All right, let's quickly chat about the parts. I'm not going to talk about everything in this build because this video is probably going to go for too long and you're not going to want to sit around and listen to all of them. The CPU is the AMD Ryzen 7 3800X. The motherboard is the Gigabyte X570 AORUS Pro Wi-Fi. The GPU is the brand new Gigabyte RTX 3090 Gaming OC. To cool the 3800X, we went with the AORUS 280 liquid cooler. The cables, yes, the RGB cables, because everyone always asks about them, are the Lian-Li Strimer Plus cables, but I'll put every single part in this build in a PC part picker list down below in the description, so you can peruse that list and see how much this whole system costs at your own leisure. I don't want to keep you here all day and all night. Building in this case is actually quite easy. It was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I thought the cable management might be a little bit tricky at first, but it's actually really, really easy. I did use some zip ties on the back, or tweezers on the back, to secure some of the cables. The included Velcro tie downs were very good too, and overall it is actually pretty nice to build in. I do like this case. I'm probably going to do quite a few more builds with it, so keep your eyes tuned to the channel because I want to try something very special with this. But yeah, you'll just have to wait to see what I've got in mind with it. But yeah, overall, I think they did a good job with the 215. They showed it off a little bit earlier, around about when Computex was supposed to be on this year, with all of like the digital presentations that all the vendors did. They showed this one off, and a lot of people have been waiting for it. I've been reading on Reddit that people are like, hey, where's this case? Well, it's here right now. There's a little bit of a story with this case. The case was actually supposed to release on the 30th of this month, on the 30th of September, but some other people, I'm not gonna name any names, they broke the embargo by about 9 to 10 days. Lian-Li hit us up that day and they were like, hey, the embargo's been broken. People already know about all the specs and stuff, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna allow the case to launch 5 days earlier, so released on the 25th. So we're a couple days late. We were planning to do it for the 30th, but because of like the embargo being broken early, we moved it up to an upload date. We pushed all of the RTX 30 series stuff to the side so we could get this out as quick as possible for you guys, because we have been asked about this case quite a bit. So here it is. Here's our first build with it. But we will definitely be building with this thing again because, to be honest, like with Lian-Li cases that we've seen recently, they're all pretty good. And the price for this isn't too bad either, because it's going for around 69 US dollars, or around about 129 Australian dollars at the time of filming. They are available now. I don't know about stock or any type of availability, because we know the world's just been crazy right now with getting your hands on anything. But yeah, that's as much as I know. That's as much as I can share, because I know as much as you guys. I have seen it online and for sale on some Australian retailers' websites, so yeah, it's available. Anyways, guys, I'm not gonna keep you here for too much longer because this video is probably gone for way too long. The gist of it is, again, I like the case, easy to build in, not too expensive. And speaking of not too expensive, if you want to grab the music that you heard in this video, it's available over on our Patreon. Also, if you guys want to see videos just like this one, like some early access stuff, we also upload all of our videos to Floatplane. Yes, we're the only Aussies on Floatplane. Once again, thank you so very much for watching. I'm your boy Nick with Gear Seekers. You peek, we seek. And to be honest, I was a little bit upset that the embargo got broken early, because I did see it get broken early, and I was just like, what's going on here? Did we miss it? Did we do something wrong? But yeah, it wasn't us for once. Thanks for watching.